fucking time. Third fucking time I had to film this video because there was something wrong with the fucking footage. Because there's something wrong with fucking uploading fucking videos from my iPhone to my MacBook Air. For some reason there's just issues with that. But yet when I had fucking Android, that shit was easy. There was never any issues. But for some reason iMovie stuff has problem with your iPhone material. I don't know. You wouldn't think so because it's all in the family. Then again, I want to talk. I have issues with my family. Anyways, what is up, my people? JaxB.TheRipper here. Let's try to do this one more time. Channel in the background, you're hearing Doormat Ordeal. Album came out last year. In fact, this is one of my favorites. We're going to talk about this right now. Death metal band from Poland. They came out with Tooth and Nail last year. It definitely for sure has like a behemoth vibe. No doubt about it. The band has a very good hint of like of theatrical, a little bit atmospheric, but also a little bit of black metal in it just for being death metal. So, starts off very bulgering, but then it kind of slows down once it gets to like the 5th track. Solvent, I believe is the name, and it kind of like gets a little bit, that's where you hear like the slower atmospheric kind of vibe a little bit to it. The guitar sounds a little bit more melodic too along the way. One of the longer songs is Dust Crown, and that one right there you will hear like the singer's vocals get even stronger. There's like definitely a dramatic transition with like 3 minutes and 30 seconds around there. And you can even hear like a bit of sludge, I guess you could say. Another Polish band I discovered, Davos. I discovered both these bands through Thralls of Metal, through their channel. That's where I basically discovered it. This is their 6th studio full-length album, Apophenia, I believe is how you say it. Oh crap, I got them both confused. Okay, that album came out last year. Davos' album's Tooth and Nail came out this year. Okay, and the song got me really hooked, especially with that squeaky sound of like the guitars. The 5th song, Revelation, had like a cowbell in it. It may not be a cowbell, but I'm going to call it a cowbell, and you can't tell me otherwise. It's definitely more on the technical side, the album for sure. There's so many dive-hard harmonics in here. It makes it almost sound like bombs are being aimed at you. I know this is not a time to joke about this, but a lot of the metal music, you guys know, we always said, oh, it sounds like a bomb going through your house. But yeah, now I really feel like this is not the time to do that. Each song kind of flows very well into the next. One thing that gets on my nerves is when they make transitions. That's really huge, and it makes no sense of why it's fucking there. Definitely able to have like that kind of like harmonic kind of groove sound that really blended in very well together. Singer Huber, his vocals stood out even more in the song Revelations, probably because of how well he could adjust to the groove sound. Panopticon came out with 2 albums this year in August, and one of them being a more raw sounding black metal album. It's a hint of the traditional bluegrass that they usually add. And then we have a bluegrass folk dark album. Not even kidding you, it's almost borderline country. Well, country wishes it was this, but it's almost there. The one we're going to start it with, the non-metal one, Luration Blue, is basically, like I said, a dark folk metal album. He really discusses politics. He really discusses, you know, the turmoil of life right now, the transition that everyone's going through. Only in one of the songs it kind of gets kind of hoedowning. I'm not even kidding you. The banjo's going hard on this. There is some accordion in this as well. Even with God, which is the name of the song, it almost sounds a little bit of a sample. Well, probably not. I don't even think that's, no, sample is something exactly alike, no, but it sounds like The End by The Doors. If you haven't heard that song, everybody knows I'm a big Doors fan. They're from Venice, California. I'm a California girl, so you know I'm going to be a diehard fan. So it really sounds similar in some ways to that song, only the song The End was like almost like a 10-minute song, I think, and you could really tell he was on something. But this one, it really has like that kind of slow kind of beat to it almost. Track Irony actually is the one that gets kind of hoedowning. The song Broken Bars, you could really hear Austin's like vocals get raspy, like if he's been drinking for like a week straight and his voice is just so fucked up already. But it goes really well with this song though. But yeah, you're basically are going to hear more his voice more clear. I don't want to say clean vocals or anything, but it's much more clear. You're not going to hear him do the shrailing sounds that we all hear in black metal. And almost in a way like this album kind of like fades out in a way where it's like very daydreamy, very escapism kind of sound from everything that's life is throwing at your way or his way at the moment. Songs of High Rate, that is the second album I'm going to talk about. That one's more raw, black metal, atmospheric, a little bit of the bluegrass in it. A little bit, not as much as his other albums like Kentucky and all them, but this has a little bit in it. So he has said that this album was basically influenced by basically going to Northern Europe, like Norway and Sweden he was primarily talking about, I think. And this is old material from 2009, and you're going to hear it because there is some songs he gets political in it. You're going to hear them talk clearly about the Bush administration. It was, for some reason, the material just never saw light of day. There were supposed to be some splits, or I don't know if the splits at least saw the light of day, but he basically revisited and brought it out. It's definitely more echoey in some of the songs too because of his experience with nature out over there in Northern Europe. From my experience just going to the UK, now I didn't go to London, I went to Birmingham and Nottingham, right? I know what he's talking about. It's kind of weird. It's something that we don't have here in the US, or at least not to the states I've been, at least not Nevada, Texas, and California. They don't fucking have it. I've been out in the country, I've been near the sea, I've been in the desert. I have not heard any sound that is so crisp and echoey like I went to the UK. Maybe New England has something, I don't know, but at least not here what I've mentioned. I don't even think Colorado had that, to tell you the truth. I forgot I went to Colorado. He really did added that echoiness, I can't say the word, echoiness very well into this album. The song From Bergen to Jotunheim, I hope I'm saying that right. It kind of gave me like Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner kind of situation right there. Like I could kind of hear influence in there. And of course the tracks are much more longer than unlike Laurentian Blue, because Laurentian Blue, you got to remember, it's supposed to be more like a folk bluegrass album, and their songs are not like past 3 minutes. Maybe you'll get a 4-minute track, but that's about it. Oh, but going back to Laurentian Blue, I forgot to mention like his vocals on that kind of gave me like, think of White Buffalo, the band White Buffalo. Okay, so going back to that. Okay, now we're going back. Songs of Haraith. Yeah, I cannot remember that last part. But anyways, Mountain View, the start, the song on that kind of gave me like some kind of goth vibe. Now, I'm not going to tell you like, you know, what are goth genres, because I'm not goth and I don't care about the music that much. Some songs here and there, but the vocals are very soft in that one, I noticed, very soft spoken. But then 2 minutes in, it came in like the wailing of the black metalness. There's a bit of transitions in here that don't blend well, but honestly, I didn't feel like it was like such a huge big deal, like such a huge noticeable where I'd be like, hey, that's too different. Haunted America 2, so that basically kind of has like a fast start, very haunting kind of sound, which you would hope that's what it is. That's the one I believe that gets a little bit political too. What they add like a little voice clip of the whole news media, what was going on with George Bush, and I think George W. Bush was voice was in it too. I'm not sure. Basically a recording. I'm not saying like George Bush got on the album and was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna be on this album. No, this one for sure. I didn't really hear much bluegrass at all in the song. And I noticed too, like the guitars and everything was almost like kind of like a glam kind of sound, like a glam rock kind of sound, but yet some speed metal in there as well. So yeah, they're basically around the same era, and they basically kind of have that same shit. So yeah. Track number 6, The Letter. That one, his vocals, I felt like he was just yelling. Like, I don't know, like, instead of, you know, doing the various or whatever you can with your vocals to make it a variety of transitions or whatever, he just really just start, like, yelling. It just really sounded like someone was just yelling, not screaming, like, with the high pitch or gutturals or chugs or anything. It would just sound like somebody was yelling at you. That's it. But it was like yelling his frustrations out. It definitely has a lot of blends of a lot of different things in here for sure. I mean, I already named that they have some glam, speed, goth, but yet raw black metal, very little bluegrass. But I like it. I think the thing is, at the end, they still stayed panopticon, and it was Black Braid album, Black Braid the Third. I'm gonna get on the topic right now about his name. I'm not gonna try saying that Native American name because I'm gonna butcher it and I don't want to offend anyone. Okay? I respect it. I'm just gonna call him John until one day I will get the name right. One day, but yeah, for right now, no. Also, there's a lot of long fucking names to these tracks. I'm just, you know, it's literally like a fucking sentence, which I'm not surprised black metal or even death metal or even brutal death metal. But, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and just say it once and that's it. So he, just to be clear, he is from New York, and he is, like, you could tell he has like Native American in him, but a lot of people were thinking he was betraying a Native American. But no, he is, and he's trying to make that culture more alive, especially in the black metal world. He is a solo man project. He primarily does everything except for the drums, so obviously the vocals, the bass, the guitars, but he doesn't do the drums. Somebody by the name of Neil Schneider, he does the drums on this. An album very attuned with nature. You are going to hear the shifts between like the acoustic guitar with the nature. You're also going to hear the Spanish guitar with the nature. There's a lot of like 2-minute songs on here that are just plainly nature sounds with an acoustic guitar. But you will also hear like the influences of like Bathory and dissection in here, especially with the track Dying Breath of a Sacred Stag. You will hear that for sure. But it's definitely like an album that it could be very soothing. It could be very relaxing. But then here comes the harsh vocals. Even with the harsh vocals, it could be very soothing and relaxing. Probably because of the very melodic sound it has. All in all, this is a very US BM kind of type of album for sure. It's probably one of the best ones. It's going to be like on the top right there. Hooded Menace, Lacrimose, Monuments of Obscuration. Come on now. Come on. It's just... Death Doom Metal, a Finnish metal band. I guess if you guys don't remember, they kind of like blew up, especially like what, 2017. The Metalhead box kind of put them on the map too. So the album was released October 2025, and I'm just gonna let you know right now, it is very 80s sounding. You're gonna hear a lot of Merciful Fate. You're gonna hear a lot of, or just King Diamond. You're gonna hear like 80s Ozzy Osbourne. You know, you're gonna hear a lot of that. You're even going to hear Duran Duran because they have, is their version of Save a Prayer. So it's really good. This fucking band tried to romanticize me. I'm like, what the fuck? But it's definitely that glam hair metal influence in this with Death Doom, and they made it work. Who would have fucking thought? This is such a good... I would hope they will go more this way, to tell you the truth. I would hope, because I really like those two sounds together. But this is day and night from like Darkness Drifts Forth. You know, it's definitely day and night from their other stuff. But the strange part is they're still Hooded Menace. Like, you know it's still them. Orbit Culture. Oh my god, this was like a good album right here. So I'm familiar with them, especially with the album Ninja. I remember listening to some of their stuff, and I always forgot to talk about them or just look into more of their stuff in general. The album was released October 2025. Swedish melodic death metal. The vocals go from like death to clean to harsh and all that stuff. I didn't even look this up. I don't know if it's 2 singers or just 1 singer who could do it all. I didn't look it up, I'm sorry. But sometimes with the clean vocals, it could really sound like Static X, or it could sound like Chester from Linkin Park. You could definitely hear like the new metal in it too as well, even though they're not, but you could hear it in the song Bloodbound. It's a very strong album and is really tracking stuff on like war, transition. It's almost like a rebirth period, as well as like betrayal that they're really talking about. Basically like a whole huge battle within yourself. Musically, it hints like of new metal. It has really strong guitars in it, even some of like the old school sounding kind of stuff from like the 80s. Again, there's a lot of bands right now that are having like influence of the 80s, and we're gonna basically talk about one more in a minute. Tracks that I probably played over and over again was like tracks 2 to 5, as well as track number 8. Grima, black metal from Siberia. Okay, so I am familiar with them a little bit, not too much. I'm familiar with them a little bit with their album that came out in 2019, Will of the Primordial. There's also a bayon. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but it's basically an accordion, a Russian accordion, an ancient one that's being played in the background to this, and you don't see them playing it, at least not one of the music videos I saw, but it's playing in the background, and this accordion makes the whole fucking album. Move over, Ramona Ayala, you're no longer the king of accordion. It's a black folk metal band from Siberia, Russia. The videos are trippy, so if you do, you know, stuff, watch it and you'll see how trippy you'll be. I mean, I don't do stuff, but, you know, even I thought it was kind of trippy, but I could just imagine how the brain is altered and how you guys will react to this. But the accordion, like I say, makes the whole fucking album. We need more of that in, like, black folk metal, to tell you the truth, even if it has to stay with just the Russian or the Ukrainian style. Actually, no, I don't think they are the only ones. I think, oh my god, what is that one band? Nocturnal Mortem, I think they are. I forgot where they're from. They're from the Ukraine or Russia, but I think they might have a hint of it. Just a Skull Gatherers, the song has like a very screechy, high-pitched solo, and I loved it just with the vocals. Just the vocals itself. Even the accordion gets a fucking solo. The guitar work was great. This is going on my end of the year for sure. I love this album completely. I love Grandma. I think even the way that how they like do the whole like anonymous kind of look is really cool. It was very woodsy. It's almost like they could blend in with the woods. That's what I loved about that one video. So Skull Gatherers, so you kind of see that. But yeah, definitely 10 out of 10. I love this album. Lorna Shore. Lorna Shore. How can I explain this album? I feel the ever black festering within me. I'm not saying that bullshit again. So it's a deathcore band that really experimented with, well, they were always kind of theatrical with when Will Ramos came in, at least. I don't know about what's it called, how they were beforehand before Will came in. But vocally, phenomenal. Will's vocals is spectacular. It just the way how he does it, how he's able to fucking expand it to other sounds. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna say this right now. This album could have been shorter. I'm sorry. We didn't need those long theatrics intros and almost all these songs. I did not need them, especially in Lionheart. I did not need that. Lionheart had to be one of my favorites, especially that and Oblivion. And I do like Glenwood. I know that's the one that's like popping off all over the place. I felt we needed less of them. Maybe one song of it beat a little bit long. That's fine. 50 minutes. We could have even made this album 50 minutes. I'm sorry. I just felt like it was too long, where sometimes I just lost interest, but it was a shame because when I would like just suck it up and kind of like, you know, listen to it more and more whenever I could, it got better. Like, you know, I really feel like this is an album I'm going to grow more with, to tell you the truth. This is not going to be on my end of the list. End of the year list, I mean. I'm sorry, it's not. And I don't know what it was with Prison Flesh, but that was like my least favorite song. But yet for some reason Spotify insists on playing that song over and over for me when I was listening to a bunch of their other songs more and more compared to Prison Flesh. But I like how they expanded with a bit of symphonic in there, you know, even like a little bit some power metal-ish, but not really. I do like that the, you know, deathcore a deathcore band would want to expand into a little bit of other stuff, which I really do like. It's a great album, but it's not my favorite album for sure whatsoever. But I do love the album. The guitar work, don't get me wrong, that guitar work is fucking amazing. There is a lot of amazing things about this album, but I don't know, there was just something about the length and too much of like certain shit that just did not need to be in there, in my opinion. But you know, at the end of the day, that's what keeps Lorna Shore what it is, Lorna Shore, so big. So great band. Would see them live totally, don't get me wrong, but it's like I said, there was just some shit I'm like, this gets annoying and it annoys me. I did not need it to be this long, and I don't need to be skipping, you know all the time, because I don't want to hear this shit. Some transitions would be a little off too. Like I was like, okay, that's a little bit too noticeable. But again, great album regardless, but it, like I said, it's not going to make it my end of the year favorites for sure. Living Dead Girl Conspiracy is the album name. It came out not too long ago. I forgot to write the date, my bad. Their last album, Exorcism, came out in 2021. It is what it is. It was pop metal. That's what it was. I know not a lot of you guys want to fucking hear that. Pop rock, pop metal, whatever you want to call it, that's what it was. It was one of my favorite albums though. I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I knew where she was coming from, and I knew what she wanted to do. She wanted like a lot of her favorite pop music or even pop rock, just more heavier. So I understand what she was trying to do, and I was very supportive of that. I bought like so many things when they first released. I got the shirt, the CD, I think some pins. I don't know, did I get the vinyl? I gotta look for it. What I like about this album more though, from Exorcism, her voice expanded. Her voice got better. The lead singer, Molly. So her voice definitely got harsher. She really expanded more in like harsher vocals in metal in general. And in the song Ugly, you could literally hear like it's like an Avril Lavigne kind of meets like Ginger somebody wrote down. And I could definitely see that because like I said, she still adds pop to it a little bit. She does have clean vocals. She has very eerie vocals, but as well as this harshness to it. She took voice lessons from Jamie Vendura. Not familiar with him, but I looked him up. He seems pretty popular. I did a quick Google search and that's it. I was like, oh, there you are. Okay, so that's why she said her vocals definitely expanded in range and everything, and she felt that they improved even better. It's definitely more core, more like you will hear like either death or metalcore in it for sure. There's like maybe one song that's like a little bit more like pop kind of sound. I forgot which one it was. I forgot to write it down. But regardless, love the album. One of my favorites. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. The Pretty Wild, talk about another kind of popish kind of sound. The Pretty Wild, they released their AP, I believe it's called Afterlife. Yeah, it was called Afterlife. On the song, Magnolian Park is on there, so it's a very trending TikTok band right now, and we'll get to that later. This EP was released October 6th. I don't know if they're sisters. I don't know if they're twins. They probably just look alike. I don't know. I couldn't find much info on them. But it gave me like Evanescence, but yet like an uglier, harsher sound. I mean that in a good way. Like an uglier, harsher sound to it as well. Their vocal ranges also, they could rap. One of them raps. I don't know which one it does, but they could rap. Like one of their previous songs that's not on here is called Kundalini. One of my favorites. I fucking love that, you know, and I'm not like a big rap fan. I think the only real rap artist I like was DMX. Oh, now the sun's coming out. Now it's eerie and dark. I don't know if I did the right thing on that. You know what? We're just gonna go with it. But they consider themselves new metalcore. Another new genre right there that I'm now hearing. But it's literally just like a short, I think it's like 4 or 5 songs EP. You could get through it real quick, with no issue. I really hated Button Eyes. Here's the thing, I probably wouldn't have hated it if JaxB from Spotify hadn't played that shit over and over again. And I'm gonna play a little sample clip to show you why I get annoyed by it. Imagine hearing that over and over again, okay? I'm just tired of that fucking song. I really am. But it's like, come on. You know I listen to all these I've been listening to so much new music in such a long time because y'all know I've been in a metal slump. I've just been in a slump in general, right? Just been in a huge depressing mode. That's why I don't upload as much as I do anymore. But I've been listening to so much new music. I've been so in tune with myself and my metal queen side once again. And I'm just like, why do you keep playing this shit? When I've been playing like maybe over 200 new metal songs probably. But yeah, the DJ sucks on there. He insists that I listen to Button Eyes over and over again. But it's a very Coraline vibe too. The whole EP, I think that's what they were going for. Magnolia Park, the song Shallow. This is a hardcore, emo, vampiric. I don't really know what to call this sound though. I mean, they kind of took over TikTok with that, with one song Shallow, and I couldn't stop. It was in my head over and over again, and I didn't know till recently they did a collaboration with the Pretty Wild. I was like, oh, okay, they're more of a bigger band than I thought, and I didn't know the song Shallow was off an album called Vamp, and now I have to listen to that, and I was like, oh, I thought it was just a single. I really did thought it was just a single, but no, it's a pretty, if you're into that, like that very like kind of like nostalgic with like the MySpace emo kind of goth vamp vibes, you're gonna get that with this song. That's exactly what you're gonna get. And again, I'll probably have more information once I actually do visit the album Vamp. Battle Beast Steelbound, so Finnish heavy metal band. with some power metal, if you want to call it that too. They're either like heavy metal or just power metal. I don't know which one I'm just gonna call them both. But anyways, they came out with this new album not too long ago, and this is gonna be a lot of 80s influence in it. Again, here's the thing, this whole album sounds like almost like an arcade 80s video game with maybe some dojo kind of movie soundtrack to add it to, very 80s like, at least. Here's the thing though, it works so well because it doesn't overpower the sound, it doesn't overpower the metal. Where I feel Beast in Black with their last fucking, I can't even remember the song, but the last fucking single they had, it was just too overpowering. I was like, dude, don't do this to me. I love you guys, don't do this to me. Where it was just way too much. Nora's voice is such a good, like, almost like a glam kind of style of fucking metal. Like, you know, like glam rock almost vocals that she has. It's so fucking good. How the band did Twilight Cabaret almost sounded, I don't want to say Kumbachero vibes, but how making it sound so like a Tropicana sound, but yet meets metal, but they're talking about like a Renaissance period. I don't fucking know. Leave it to them. I'm not fucking creative like that, so I would never know, but I like listening to creative stuff. Angel of Midnight have been the one that sound more like a traditional hair metal kind of style type of song, in my opinion. Anyways, if you like Miami Vice, go listen to this album. In This Moment, Heretic, the single that she did, that Maria did with Kim Dracula. If you're not familiar with Kim Dracula, kind of think Jonathan Davis meets Marilyn Manson, and today's version. Just not creepy as Marilyn Manson and not, you know, like, questionable. But yeah, Kim Dracula basically blew up on TikTok with the song Paparazzi that he redid of the Lady Gaga, and it was so well, it hit 1 million streams on Spotify in like, what, it was like a span of 3 months, I think. I don't know, it was like a very short time. But I love Kim Dracula. I know I've talked about him. I think this was like in 2020 when I mentioned the song. I talked about him. I love him. So they did a collaboration. The vocals is like bombs going at each other. Again, I'm so sorry, not trying to be insensitive here, but it's like bombs going at each other, and they just mesh so well. And he even does some beatbox, like that's the thing, he even does some kind of like that, is that what they call it, beatbox, like how Jonathan Davis does. And it just mixed that with fucking Maria's vocals. It was tremendously very heavy, very good, very harsh sounding, but not too much where it's like, where the fuck is everything going? Because sometimes that could happen when you bring in two metal vocals, or sometimes just the person in themselves trying to do something different with their metal vocals. I'll be like, okay, it's all over the place. I don't know where to like bring it down. I mean, I don't know which way to listen, let's just say that. But no, you can hear both of them in your ear, just fucking like talking to you or screaming at you, and it's all just mixed in very well blended in. I know this is just a single only, but I will love to hear more from the both of them. This was a perfect collaboration. And last but not least, Zenobia. Again, another woman here that we don't know much about, which I'm loving the whole anonymous kind of shit that she's doing. She's not the only one who does it. I know that there's a lot, obviously, Sleep Token. But she has a very shoegazy sound. She's an independent solo artist from Australia. We don't see her face or anything. She already blew up with the track Throne of Won't, and as well as Devour Me. She only has 2 fucking tracks, and she blew the fuck up. And in all her bios, it says she writes music for him he will never hear. So I don't know if the guy's has died or something, or maybe she just I don't know, doesn't want to tell him how she feels, or maybe he doesn't feel the same way. I don't fucking know. But anyways, it's just, you know, she definitely has like that Bad Omen vibes for sure, with like Evanescence to it. I'm relating a lot to Evanescence lately. I don't know why, but you know, that's just what I've been hearing in some of this music. It's either been Evanescence or very 80s or country. Oh. Yeah, but the best way I could just describe this is very shoegazy, has some atmosphere to it, and just very mysterious kind of sound, you know. There's there's definitely a lot of video reactions to her songs too, or to her music videos, I should say. So go take a look. But anyways, that's it, you guys. Oh my god, and that's because there's more I wasn't able to touch on. But like I said, not only did I have to film this, like this is my 3rd time, and I'm hoping everything goes well. Also working 7 days straight. We had that big sale at work and everything. So, and on my days off, I was just like fried. I couldn't even do anything. So thanks you guys for watching. Salut. I'll see you guys in the next video.